Hello everyone, so we have a review today. Doing this pretty late, but yeah, I thought I'd go through it and it finally came. It's the Tarot of the Divine. I'll tell you a little story about this. I was on the pre-order list through Book Depository and they didn't have enough, and I went, oh, that's fine. They didn't estimate how many people would want this deck, and I was in the second round and I didn't get the second round, and I went, okay, when is the next batch coming? And they had no idea when the next batch was coming. So then I went to one of the tarot trade groups, and a lovely girl in the US had this for sale, and I went, do you know what's better than nothing? I'm gonna get it. And she was so sweet, she's so nice, and she's so lovely. Oh, and this deck, I didn't think the box would be this small, which is nice because I hate the big boxes. There's too much space wasted with them. I hope you don't mind this new layout. I just turned my tripod the other way because my workspace is now where it used to be. Hope you don't mind it. Just testing it out, why not? But so this deck is just, I can't believe this is a mass-produced deck. It's so soft. Who's it by? Clarkson Potter. They're a New York publisher that took this on, and the box is stunning. Firstly, there is a big book that comes with it, and it's how do I put it? It's like to explain all the fairy tales in more depth, and it's not fairy tales, it's deities, folklore, and fairy tales. So it's more than one thing. I love this gilding. Like, look at that. This is stunning. And I saw some fairy tales in it, and I was like, oh, I know this. And the way it's done or interpreted is beautiful. I've been waiting for this deck since September. September. And I love how this opens. Like, it's like this weird, it's like an interesting clamshell. Oh, or treasure chest more like. So here's the book. This was not opened when I got it. Like, she still had the factory seal on it because I think she actually got two or something. I've no idea, but who knows. But yeah, so we're gonna put this here. I'm gonna move some of the stuff. I'm just kind of testing out the waters with this new angle, okay? So bear with me. So there's the deck. The cardstock it's linen. So if you can see that, it's like, you can see the lines, it's linen. It's flexible but sturdy. It's not too thick that it's like Modern Witch, like it's so thick that you have issues with it. That's the backing. It's stunning. Reversible too. It reminds me of the Game of Thrones tarot, but not as sandpapery with the linen. Like on that one, I don't know what it was. The linen made that weird like it's squeaky. Like, oh, how would I put it? Do you remember those moving pictures? Like that, it had that like weird, I don't know how to put it. It had a weird film on it. And it would just make this, it was just so weird to hold and shuffle, the Game of Thrones tarot. So that's how I describe that. And it's so soft. It's so smooth at the same time. Like, I can still feel it's linen, but it's soft. It's nice. It's a nice size too, actually. I'm just using the King of Wands here because he's at the top. This hasn't been moved or anything. I think she took it out. No, she actually didn't take it out. She just took a picture of the box. Because it was factory sealed. So this is the book, and it's so colour. I couldn't believe it was in full colour, this little book. So this is how you're getting the layout. Okay, so we have the card, and then the description, and a bit of the fairy tale here. Not the whole in-depth thing. So like here we have the Fool is the Little Mermaid, and it tells you the origin of the fairy tale. So we have Denmark, Danish fairy tale. The Fool rests on the pinnacle of a decision. She is ready to dive into her new subconscious and into the physical world to transform from an animal into a human. See what I mean? And then tells you upright and reverse. This is literally all you need if you were a beginner. This is perfect. And to kind of associate the Fool with Ariel, or the Little Mermaid in this sense, That's perfect. Like, I would think that because they're making the decision to change and take that leap. Some of them I've never heard of, but I love how the tower was Rapunzel. Like, we're going to see that later. The tower was Rapunzel. There's some Egyptian gods in here. Who's this one? I wanted to see who this was. Two of Cups is... I can't remember. It's like Enkidu and Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh. Two of Cups is an ideal relationship that still faces difficulty. Gilgamesh was a tyrant, unlike Enkidu. Sounds like I'm kidding you. Was created for him to be his equal in every way. Through their initial meeting was rocky. Though their initial meeting was rocky, they came to love each other. Oh, that's kind of sweet. And it's like, it's from the origins of these stories is phenomenal. I know the Monkey King. I've heard of that one. But yeah, now this book is perfect. Like, that's a nice size book. It's like an A5, a bit bigger than an A5. I don't know what that is in American terms, because you go by centimeters, I think, in or like the size of the paper, if that makes sense. So here's the deck. I'm gonna put it here. This is like the corner brace for my desk, so this is gonna be here. So I'm gonna tilt you guys down, move you forward, tilt you down, zoom in. We're gonna have some fun with this, okay? Wow, I hope you don't mind this yellow light. It's just because it's late and it gets dark here and I don't finish work till 9. So just thought I'd just go with the flow. I have time and I'm awake. So we have the Fool. Love this. Look at the goldfish here. Like, that's beautiful. My god, they're so soft. Like, I can still feel like the lines, if you can see them there. See those little lines? That's the linen. So this is cloth put into the paper. And it's stunning. And you can feel it. Like the little bumps. But it's not so much so that it's uncomfortable, like sandpaper, as I said. It's nice. And the backing is just smoother. I don't know. I've always been on the fence about linen cardstock because of Game of Thrones, and I've moved that on to someone else, but it's just that one was so, it curved and it was like so rough around the edges. So the magician, I think, is the fairy godmother. I'm just going to say the majors and we'll be quiet for the minors. So fairy godmother, France. So this is the fairy godmother. That makes sense. She has everything. She's not all powerful, but she does have the skills to make you see who you really are, if that makes sense. And I do like that. That's really pretty. Especially the pumpkins and the mice at the end. That's really cute. Okay, the High Priestess is... Let's see. Shakariz. I cannot say this. It's a Turkish name. That's the princess, or the Arabic folklore. I would have thought it was Princess Jasmine, to be honest. So yeah, so she's the High Priestess, and she represents asks the listener to focus on the subconscious, tells them, encouraging them to form their own conclusion. Perfect, that makes sense. Now, even if I didn't know if these deities or folklores or fairy tales suited the card, or if this person represented the card, I still think it's beautiful. Like the art, that's beautiful. This is Our Lady of Guadalupe, and this is the Mexican. It's not Mother. I don't think it's Mother Mary, or maybe it is, and it's the Mexican version. Quote me on this. Just correct me on this one. But I would love to get one of these statues. This is just the colours are stunning, and I was like, oh my god, she's beautiful, and she's a mother and she's protective. It's literally straightforward. I don't know if she is she's the Virgin Mary that appeared in Guadalupe in Mexico, but it just says Catholic saint, so maybe it is, but I don't know. Just double check with that. I'll double check that. for myself. Next, I think this is Owen. No, it's King Arthur. Ooh, so he's an older King Arthur. What age did he die at, I wonder? So here's King Arthur as the Emperor. Britain and Celtic. What? It says Britain, Celtic legend. Oh, like, he's not Celtic. He's from the Celtic era, but he is not Celtic. Huh. So he is the Emperor. That makes sense. He's a conqueror. I think if we wanted a Celtic one, I would have gone, because I am Irish, I would have gone with Brian Boru maybe, or King Connor. King Connor is a good one. That's a good one to look up. He's also known as the Earl of Desmond, I think, which is what Cork was called in the Celtic era of kings. Like, I think Ireland had like 300 kings at once, because they go, this is my hill, I'm a king. That's the truth, they did. They just made a hill and they go, that's mine. And that's how. Then we had clans as well. So we had 300 kings, or like royals altogether, and then there was like 4 or maybe 5 clans, I think, maybe more. There's probably loads of clans, but the sections would be divided up into clans. But King Arthur is British. White Buffalo Woman, North Dakota, Lakota deity. Yeah, I've heard of this. She's in other decks I've seen. I think she was in one of my goddess decks I've let go. I've so many decks I've just cleared out because it just happens, you know, when you don't use them. So this is the Hierophant, and she represents rules, rituals, and rites. Yeah, that makes sense. Like I say for the Native American beliefs and stuff, like that kind of representation of a Hierophant, this makes sense. This one is the Lovers. It's Beauty and the Beast. It says China, but it's also a Danish fairy tale. What does that mean? I'm not kidding. It says China right there. And it says Danish fairy tale. So how is it Chinese and Danish? Oh, unless... Oh, I get it now. I get it. This is the representation is done in Chinese. Like, this is the art. But the tale is from Denmark. I was like, going, what? So that makes sense with King Arthur then. It's a British... He's in Britain, but it's a Celtic legend. That doesn't make sense. Because King Arthur was... Yeah. But this one's lovely. I like this. It's like a Chinese... Not a dragon, but it's like a tiger kind of dragon. I love it. And she's like a geisha. I keep thinking there's 2 cards stuck together in some of them. They're not. The Lovers represent romance, opposites attract. Yep. And in this case, this would be Stockholm Syndrome, but not really. Because I don't know, the Chinese version would sound really pretty. I don't know why. I still love Beauty and the Beast. The Chariot, the 3 princesses of Whiteland. And this is in Norway, and it's a Norwegian fairy tale, so this is represented as the culture it's representing. The 3 princesses of Whiteland. The prince may... This is a prince. The prince may have floundered before he has learned from his mistakes. Okay. I'd love to look at that one. That's interesting. 3 princesses. When it's a prince in it. It's the prince in the story. This is Tom Lynn. And it's a Scottish fairy tale. So this is probably what originated for the Brave Pixar movie. She's strength, courage, and I have no idea what this is. It's like a lion with an alligator head. It's just saying focus and strength, it's literally that. But this is very Scottish. Scottish women didn't say, nah, I'm doing it myself. That is so pretty. The oranges and the greens, that's really nice. The Hermes is the Druid and the White Stag. Ireland. Celtic legend. Yep, I've heard of this one. It's a white stag that represents peace and like a good year and hope are coming. So if you see a white stag in Ireland, it's rare, but it means it's a good year and good things are coming. I can't remember the last time someone has found a white stag in the wild or anything like that, but or if there is one in Ireland currently. But yeah, it just means hope and stuff like that in the legend. It's a Celtic myth of the elusive white stag encourages people to drop everything and pursue spirituality. Yeah, it means you're given a calling to pursue your spirituality kind of path. That's very true, I've heard of that. And that's why, if you ever come to Ireland, the museums are all free to walk around and stuff like that. If you go to the Natural History Museum, not the National, natural, like nature. As you walk in, there's a big skeleton of a stag, but it's called the Great Irish Elk, and it's so big, and it makes me wonder, like, what's the muscles like on it? But their antlers were from one end to the other end, I think they were 12 feet long, and like they weighed about half a car. And I'm there going, can you imagine those things like still living? Like, good lord. The reason why they died out is because trees grew, so because they couldn't get their antlers through the trees, and like birds migrating or something would have brought over the seeds or something like that, and that's just how it happened, because Ireland was just flat land when they were around. So no man killed them, they just sadly went extinct. But the size of them, like this one's on a podium, and if you got rid of the podium, you're just like, whoa. It's massive. Like, I'm 6 foot, so 2 of me is its antlers. Like, that's mad. And like that's the only like prehistoric animal we have. Yeah. So I think we also had cave bears, but like that was like 4,000 years ago. And I think we found. I know wolves have been reintroduced into the Northern Ireland, into Donegal, and I think bears have as well. So I think that's really cool. Bears are slowly coming back. The Wheel of Fortune is the Anastine, the Ghana. I'll just show you. I always show just in case I pronounce things wrong, but this is the fairy tale I'm reading. The Wheel of Fortune is endlessly turning, spun by a trickster god. Oh wow. So he's a Ghana trickster god. So he's like the Ghana version of Loki. Okay, we'll go with that. Just so for association for myself. Yeah, that makes sense, because the web is the wheel. I'm like, I always wonder, how do spiders know how to do a wheel? Like, how do they know what shape to make a web? Like, it's passed down to go, yeah, I need to make it this shape so it could be structurally sound. This is Amhang Eso, which is Korean. I watch some Korean food channels, and and Korean Englishman, so I sometimes hear like I look at it and go, how do you say that as if you were speaking Korean rather than English? Because I would have gone, Amhain and Isa, do you know what I mean? And that probably means nothing to Koreans. So if I try to pronounce that. Yeah, this is Justice, and he's wielding both intelligence and impartiality. This is his name, is Amheng Eso. Amheng Eso. It's interesting. Because I'd love to know, like, some of these ones from different cultures. Oh, is this Sleeping Beauty? Is Hangman Sleep? Yes! The Hangman is Sleeping Beauty, and it's an Italian. I always thought it was German, but maybe that was the song, like the music, Once Upon a Dream is German. Yeah, I think the Once Upon a Dream is German. So this is an Italian fairy tale, and it's based in Italy, so this is Italian style for that era. The Hangman seizes forward momentum to avoid disaster. Sleeping Beauty is the symbol of status. That makes sense. Just the symbol of like pause, like just staying still. Oh, her face is beautiful. She's stunning. Like, you could leave her there. She's just lying there. But every time you look at her, it looks like she is lying there. The Brothers Grimm version of that is just atrocious. Very good, but oh, no thank you. If you ever want to look it up, do, but look up the wiki, not any of the videos of it. Oh my god. No, thank you. Poor Aurora, or Briar Rose. Death. This is Death, and this is White Bear King Vailmon, and it's a Norwegian story. It's in Norway, and it's a Norwegian fairy tale. Very interesting. I always find these interesting because this is the death of a childhood is important in order to grow up. Oh, so this is interesting. So it's like your innocence is dying. Can you actually ever remember the day you lost your innocence? Like, can you remember the day you were no longer a child? I think the day I remember was when I was 13 now. I think this was quite old to be told Santa's still real. I think it was 12 going on 13. That's when I found out there was so much that wasn't real. Oh, that's the worst. I found the presents in the attic. And that's when you, like, that's my innocence, I think, dying a bit, in this terminology. But, yeah, no, that's an interesting, I don't think anyone remembers when they let go of their childhood. But that was one of the stepping stones of many, many, many experiences to come for realizing, wow, the adult, why did I want to grow up? Like that kind of thing, like, why did I want to grow up? That's a mouthful. It's an Indian Buddhist, it's in India, but it's a Buddhist god, I think, or deity. So that's the name. And this is the origin and the Buddhist belief, I believe. So, just in case I butchered the name, I'm not going to even pronounce it, but yes. So this is temperance. That makes sense, because if it's one of those Buddhist, or I know in Buddhism and Hinduism, they do have many gods with many hands. So it just shows you, or goddesses, gods or goddesses, with many hands. So this makes sense that they're balancing all those things. Do you know what I mean? So it just makes sense with the multiple arms. Death, or not the devil, sorry. Boitata, which is a Brazilian mythical beast. It is a dragon sitting upon a pile of gold. This is a snake, though. Kind of, it's interesting that it's a snake on fire. So I want to see if there are Brazilian followers of mine, or anyone of Brazilian descent. Does this make sense? Because it says it's a dragon, but for some reason the artist has depicted it as a snake. Maybe it just makes more sense. Like this is its mortal stage or something, you know what I mean? Before it becomes a dragon. Devil gives into ego, lusting for unnecessary and harmful things. And there's all these like bodies at the bottom here. Like they gave in to the hypnosis of the snake. Maybe that's why. It's still a cool drawing though. I love it. Here's the tower, and the tower is Rapunzel. I actually like this. This is really pretty. It's very pretty. The reds, like, because if you think of the Pixar one, it's not Pixar. It's just Disney. It's the new version of Disney. If you think of that, like, that's all pinks and greens and blues and really pretty, but this is the reality. Like, that's the prince falling, and that's not Rapunzel. I think that is Rapunzel falling, but I can't tell. It looks like she chopped her hair off, but then again, she could be still at the top of the tower. But it just shows you the sense of change and drasticness, because she didn't know any better. But then thinking this way of living is the right way, and then finding out it's a lie. Do you know, that's a perfect way to represent the tower. And Rapunzel is from Germany. Interesting. So this is Sister Alyonishka and brother Ivanushka. So this is a Russian fairy tale for the star. The star is a symbol of hope and disaster. Hope after a disaster, not hope and disaster. The need to remain positive after misfortune. This is perfect to come after the tower of this card. It doesn't say anything about the the characters in it, but I presume the brother is the lamb. And it looks like she's like, oh, she's just basking in the hopefulness of that star, isn't it? So pretty. Oh, I've heard of this. Princess Kayua? Is she the Princess of the Moon? I think there's an animation about this. She's the Princess of the Moon. Yeah, she was born... Is this the one that was born out of the bamboo shoot? I think it is. I think this is the one that's born out of the bamboo shoot. And she grows up to become the Princess of the Moon, and then the Moon Kingdom come to take her. And her human family, or say human, like her Earth family, are so sad for her to go and stuff. And there's a reason why, I can't remember the reason why she had to go to Earth. Oh, it's really pretty. Shape-shifting raccoon. Oh, yeah. I remember that. And there's like a Studio Ghibli film about the raccoons. You should look it up. It's so funny. I can't remember what it's called, but it's really funny. And they're called tanukis, which is shape-shifting raccoons. I love Japanese culture. I'm not a weeaboo, believe me. But I just love the traditional side of things and the modern way of things. It's mad. It's so pretty. Well, that's the moon. Of course, the sun is the sun god Ra. Ra. The only way I remember the Egyptian gods' names is from Prince of Egypt. When you playing with the big boys now, they go, by the power of Ra, and he goes, Newt. I can never do it off by heart, but when I'm listening to it, I know it goes, and he goes, they just say the names off by heart. I'm like, whoa, it's mad. Like that. It's beautiful though. Egyptian god Ra provides everything in illumination and optimism and enthusiasm. That makes sense. And I love this, like how it goes from like a fairy tale drawing to like an Egyptian hieroglyph. And there's a fun fact: hieroglyphs were for ceremonial reasons only, or documents. So like that's why they're on tombs, because that's a ceremony and it's a grave. And then they did have a written language, which is interesting. There's a common folk language and a rich folk language, and then the hieroglyphs were for priests and stuff. And then there's like a tablet, isn't there, with all these phrases or some treaty or something, and the last one's in Greek. And I was like, oh my god, like it's just mad, like the last one's in Greek. It's so weird, because Alexandria was Greek. Okay, we're on Judgement, and this is the Monkey King. Judgement, and it's it's depicted in Chinese art, and it is from China. Now we get it. Judgement is the reckoning and ending before and start of a new journey. Because I know this Monkey King, he travels in a cloud, doesn't he? There's so many depictions of that, but yeah, I know he travels in a cloud and he has to learn lessons or just repeat the same mistakes. That's what it was. The world, this is the last of the majors, and then we're going to quiet and look at the minors. This is Hinamoa and Tutanikai. It's New Zealand and it's Maori. I'm going to show you their names just in case I butchered them at the time. That's them there. Yep. So they represent happily ever after, ending of following a journey. They represent, the two of them together represent conclusion, positive outcome most desired. That's beautiful. That's really pretty. Okay, so that's the majors. So as per usual, we're going to go zoom in, have a look at the minors, and if there's one or two I want to talk about, sure. Because I don't know if, I think I'll do one card draw because I don't have the space to do a 3-card draw. And yeah, so let's get into this. Okay, so that was the Tower of the Divine. It's lovely. I had to show it a few times off camera there because it's quite stiff when you first do it. So I did it a few times, and it's not too bad, like doing the riffle shuffle like this. It's not too bad. Once you do it a few times, like it's still stiff. You have to use it a few times. Like it with any new deck. I'm going to get one card and see what it says in the book. No, do another one. This one. Okay, I'm going to see who it is or what it is. And we have the 6 of coins. Let's see what the book says about the 6 of coins. Coins, coins, coins. Okay, 6 of coins is the woman who was kind to insects. Interesting, and it's a Alaskan Inuit fable. The 6 of coins represents kindness and generosity to those less fortunate. The old woman from this Inuit tale understands the need to put positivity into the world in order to receive it back. The pay it forward methodology of karma. That makes sense. The upright meanings are generosity, charity, kindness, and value and reward. This makes sense. If you give back to those who have helped you, good karma is going to come towards you. You're going to succeed more, and then the universe is going to go, do you know what? I think you deserve those things you've been manifesting. So that makes sense. So yeah, so that is your little reading to go with this review. So that, guys, is the Tower of the Divine. I've been waiting so long for this. I'm sleepy right now. I'm not, but I'm over the moon that this came today. Oh, I'm so over the moon. I'm still waiting for the Love and Crystals decks. They're just caught up with all the Christmas posts and stuff, so hopefully they'll be here soon. So yeah, I'll leave that there, guys, and I'll see you all very soon. I am working right now, so I may do some videos over the Christmas break, but at the moment I'm busy. And with posts and stuff, deck reviews are going to be few and far between because of COVID and Christmas post at the same time, so it's just, it is what it is. So do check out some of my other videos. I do have some pick-up piles, I do have some horoscopes and stuff, but mostly if you want to see me more often, I am on Instagram. I do my daily readings and stuff there. I have a pick a card on at the moment, and it's coming out on Saturday, so pick your cards and all that lovely stuff. My Instagram is down below, and yeah, so I'm mostly there when I'm not doing YouTube. I'm always there. So I'll leave that there, guys, and I'll see you all very soon. Stay safe, and if I don't see you before next week, Merry Christmas. Bye.